Thank you, Miss Isis. Thank you so much. We apologize for the delay due to some technical difficulties. I think it's from my end. I don't know. But welcome to the program. We're gonna join us pretty soon. President of the Transport Roads and Development Sustainable Services, TADS, Edgerton Newman, and also Mr. Louis Barton will be joining us soon. We're going to speak about what is going on in the transport sector. But before we do so, I am seeing some news coming out of the land of wood and water where a triple murder in Trelawney. I'm seeing some things on social media here that is very graphic that I can't even look on. And based on what is going on, we're asking the question, is this country on the brink of no return? There's also another murder going on that happened in I am seeing here where police are now on the scene in St. Catherine in Spanish Town of another murder. What on earth is going on? 2 killed in Spanish Town, gun attack. I am trying to figure out what is going on here. I have with me, joining us this morning, is President Edgerton Newman. Mr. Newman, welcome to the program. Welcome to Roots FM, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thanks for having me.
Before we talk transport, Edgerton Newman, the triple murder in Iran, and now I'm being seen and I'm being told here now in the Gleaner that police are now on a scene in Spanish Town where 2 were killed. Mr. Newman, what is going on in the land of wood and water?
That's a very good question. I wish I knew what was going on, but from where I sit, it is not looking good. You know, I wonder what the world is saying now. The rest of the world is saying about little Jamaica of 3 million people. Why are we having these quadruple, triple, double murders all across the island every day? Just don't know. Between last night and today, we could come close to about 7 persons murdered. I don't know what's going on. In Spanish Town, I got misinformation this morning. I thought it was a busman. The busman died, but there's 2 persons within the space connected who has been killed this morning. In Trelawney, 4, sorry. You know, it is unfortunate, and something needs to be done. I don't know what's going to be done, but it needs all hands on deck to address this problem.
And you know the hurtfulest thing, Edgerton Newman. We hope to have Sir Louis Barton joining us
Yes.
pretty soon. Let me see if I can get Mr. Barton in because I think he's here. But oh Lord, Louis is here. Welcome to the
I'm here.
program, Sir Louis Barton.
All right, thank you very much.
I have our good friend here, Edgerton Newman, with us.
Yeah,
Yes. Uh,
I seen his initials.
okay. But you
Mr.
can't
Barton,
you can't see the shirt that look like yours.
Oh,
All right. All right.
Mr. Barton, before we get
yes,
into the
sir.
discussion about transport,
Uh,
you hear about the killing that is going on, one in Trelawney, and now, as we speak, there's 2 who killed in Spanish Town a while ago.
yeah, I just heard about it. And I heard Mr. Newman comment on it. He's not quite sure whether he's a operator or not. But my thing is, I'm kind of different from almost everybody because my comment is that whether he's an operator or not, I am trying to emphasize security in the transport sector, whether it's a passenger or operator. We have to deal with it.
Yes, we
You're,
have.
you're,
But
Go
you're
ahead.
correct, Louis. We have to deal with it. And my comment this morning, information I got was that was a bus operator. I further learned it is not, but it is in the space. and
Yeah.
and it is connected to the transport sector. So we have to speak to it, and it is looking bad, very very bad. And I hope something can be done before long to address the problem. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
a crime plan now. I'm talking about all hands on deck to
Yeah.
address the major problem we have in the public transport sector
Yeah.
and beyond.
I agree with you, and I'm happy that you took that position. That is the criminal effect on the transport sector, because we have always been talking about how drivers get shot or conductors and all of that. But it's more than that. It's a whole sector. We have to start addressing the issue of crime in the transport sector, not only for operators, but for everybody.
That is so true.
Gentlemen, it does not look good. And a contrast what Egerton Newman said a while ago, Mr. Newman said a while ago. It does not look good in this country. But every day you get up, you hear about domestic affair murder, or you hear about 3 people murdered, 4 people murdered, 5 people murdered, and then you get a crime statistics that does not add up to what you have on your books. Mr.
Yeah.
Newman and Mr. Barton, you are all in the public transport sector from Donkey, from Wappy Kill Philip. Philip dead long time. Tell me, tell me something now. What do you think before the minister go on the road and trying to get rid of the road taxi, which I thought they need to? Well, my opinion is my opinion. Anyway, what do you think the government need to do, not only to secure the transport sector, but to secure this country? Mr.
Yeah.
Newman?
Let me tell you, I have no problem with yesterday's initiative by the minister and the agencies with responsibility for that. I'm happy that we were engaged. We, the sector leaders, were part of that process yesterday. But go beyond that. There need to be a sit down of the minds. Myself and Louis spoke to it yesterday. And let's hear from each other. What is our plan for the future for the public transport sector? And bring all that knowledge together, including the criminality in the sector and beyond. We have to address it. I think, a matter of fact, let me tell you, what I saw yesterday, I wish if that sort of operation could be widened to every single community in Jamaica. But as I said on the program this morning, that after we have that operation yesterday, this morning at 6 o'clock, we should be all around a table looking at the missteps of yesterday and carve now a strategy to address it. We can't have a one-off thing, a 1 month thing, a 1 day thing. It has to be an ongoing process of dealing with crime and violence in Jamaica. It takes all hands on deck, not just Prime Minister Andrew Holness or Mark Golden. It takes all of us. I said to somebody recently, Jeffrey,
Yeah.
that if you want a good security system for our people, engage the taxi man in it. The taxi man is in every nook and cranny of this country. But because of the relationship between the taxi man and the police, there's a chore we not support. Because when a man who is moving a child, a 5-year-old, to another area to rape that child, pardon my expression, you, the driver, can see the expression in the face of that commuter, you know.
Yeah.
You can see the movements in that car or that bus. So we need to be on board. Somebody was saying to me, why don't train a number of taximen as district constable? You could give them firearm too, right? Because we have our pulse on what is happening in this country, but we are not being recognized, one, and we seen as common criminals too. So we can't be engaged.
But Louis Barton, I'm gonna make a comment now, Mr. Barton. But look at it, Mr. Newman. If the JCF don't have enough gun to service the JCF and ballistic vests and so forth, how are they gonna train these district people and give them guns and have any guns? Louis Barton.
If I was a taxi man, give me a buckle of pepper spray and a baton. I've heard the gun thing.
Yeah. But you know, one of the things that me and Mr. Newman also have been calling for a number of years, you see. It's for a national public passenger transportation policy, right? Now, within that policy is something that we develop, that all of us, government and private sector, which we are the private sector, and all those, anybody who have any connection to transportation, we're supposed to get together so we can define what is transportation. Because yesterday, while we were on the road, I talking to a few drivers, and they were angry that because they were overtaken when cars were coming down and they get stopped by the police, they were saying that the police wicked and them should give them a break and all kind of something. Which if they take that position, it means to me that they really don't understand how to move passengers. And if you don't know how to move passengers, then you're not part of the system. So you need a policy that everybody can understand what we're talking about. I'm quite sure when they are on these guys when they tell me that the policemen wrong or whatever for catching them in illegal act, they're only saying that because they were caught. Because quite sure today they're going to do the same thing
But
because the
hold on
police
there
are
now.
here today, so they're going to do the same thing. But I'm saying that we need a policy that that also take into consideration the crime, the, the illegal things that transport operators do, but also to identify why they are doing it, right? Because there are certain structural problems on the road that cause them to be doing that type of thing. Let me just
And
give
and
out
and
one
and and,
example.
and, and hold
What,
on there
what,
for me, Mr. Barton.
uh,
Someone in the chat room is asking about extortion. But before we go to the extortion thing, I want to find out something. The minister was on the road yesterday along with members of the public transport sector. Does he have a plan that when he takes away, when he said the road taxi drivers must come off the road and whatever, does he has a plan to regularize them to put them back in the system?
I I have not heard of any plan to do something like that, but
But
that is
it makes
absolutely
no sense. Hold on
necessary.
there, Louis. Louis and
Um,
Edgerton. Hold on a minute. It makes no sense that you are going to take a man bread away from him. Yes, he is not legal in the system, but take away his bread from him and don't give him something to do is going to create more criminality in the country.
yeah, I
Let,
agree with you
let,
totally.
let me
But
agree with you partially, Jeffrey. But I don't want the minister to come to me with a plan. I don't want that.
Why?
What I want is for us, knowing what is happening, for us on the line, to sit together and carve a plan. The plan of the people, not the plan of government, the plan of the people. And we have a committee called the steering committee. I wouldn't mind going to one of the meetings. But the
Yes.
fact is that once we, the operators with the agencies, including the minister, sit down and say, listen now, I was on Red Hills Road. I saw A, B, C, and D. Now, gentlemen, what can we do to arrest that problem, address that problem? So we don't have to come up and say, oh, I write 10,000 tickets yesterday or 500 tickets the day before. We must say we wrote less tickets yesterday because we now has put these things in place that will reduce the anarchy on the road. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a minister's plan. I want to see our plan because we are there 20, 30, 40 years in the sector. We know what is wrong and we need to address it. A minister is there for 5 years at
yeah,
maximum, right? We
yeah,
have never have a minister of transport for 5 years. Tell me about him. Never have one. And my
yeah,
problem is that we might lose this one because he's working very good now. Anytime they
yeah,
start doing something good, we dash them away and bring in
yeah,
somebody else. That's the problem we have. So when the people plan, will work. The minister plan is just for a season.
yeah. And another thing I want to point out as far as the illegal activity on the road is concerned, right? Yesterday, I was on the road with the minister, Mr. Newman, and other people, and we left halfway Tree Transport Center on the road, not Odeon Avenue. We left there and we went up to Chancery, right?
Yeah.
We made about 3 stops along the way to prosecute some illegal operators, some people who are driving bad. I think it probably took us maybe half an hour or probably 45 minutes from Half a Tree up to Chancery. And Jeffrey and Mr. Newman, I don't know if you recognize it. Not one JUTC bus passed us
Yes,
in the road. Not
yes,
one. So when people have to get to work, right? How do we expect them to go to do? The
yes,
people have
yes,
to get there on time, but
yes,
we're not providing that. JUTC not doing it. So when the taximan, who some of them are illegal, but they are getting people to work. So
yes.
you can't blame the taximan solely because he is
Mhm,
doing a job that the JUTC is supposed to
mhm.
be doing. So you need to fix the entire system and
You
not
know,
The
only
first,
beat up the taximan or anything. I'm not defending the illegal activity of transport operators, but I'm saying that they are operating in that way because of the situation that is
yes.
presented to them.
but Louis and Egerton, why is it that they don't use the plan that former Minister of Transportation had, Robert Bobby Montague, in a sense of he had a plan. I remember when I went to the conference with Mr. Barton in Ocheroi. Was it Ocheroi, Sir Newman?
Yes, I think it's yes, yes, yes.
Yes, there was a plan that he had. Oh my God, what's the name of the plan? To help the transport sector move forward in a very good way. Why is it that that I can't remember the name of the plan? Why they don't use? Why is it that Minister Vaz don't use the plan that even Mike
Uh,
But
Pence had that plan too?
everybody
but
come
Jeffrey,
in, every minister come in, have a new plan.
have a plan,
Everybody
yeah.
presenting something. But I maintain that if you don't have an overall policy that is developed by all of us, then your little plan is just a half-baked thing. I like certain part of what Minister Montague was saying, but there are other parts that we had to throw out. There's no overall plan of where all of us should go. And because of lack of that, then whenever anybody come in, since you don't have no policy on what you're supposed to do, you do whatever you want to do. It's putting a what we are doing now is putting a band-aid on a sword. What Mr. Newman talk about, we should have a meeting probably today to assess what happened yesterday. That is necessary. I'm saying that because there's not a plan, there's no overall plan, then we don't even think about what gonna happen today or tomorrow. We're just thinking about doing it another day, doing the same thing another day. But it's going to be a failure. I am part of the steering committee. I'm going to put it to the steering committee that we should have an assessment after each road operation. We come back and we sit down and we talk about what is the next step. Because we're supposed to be in the correction. We are correcting some problems. We go out and we find the problems. We come back in and we say, well, this is the problem and this is the solution. But we're not doing anything like that. We're doing band-aid solution, which
You know, I
never
want
work.
to. I sometimes travel from a sort of disease that I don't remember things sometimes. So I want to step on this before we run away.
Yes.
The matter of going to Louis spoke about going to Chancery Street, and I call it Price Right. I think it's the same thing.
Yes,
Now,
Yes.
when we reach Price Right, some person told the minister that some commuters that they're not taking on JUTC bus because the JUTC bus take too long to reach where they're going. Well, to Half a Tree, they want the taxis. And let me tell you something: the operations of the taxis need to be changed by government to give them the right to operate in the space, right? Because people not taking it, they tell you what their UTC bus to get to work. And somebody said of a very high position said that we need to change the mindset of the people. What kind of mindset if people want to reach a work on time, right?
Hold
You're
on
waiting.
there, gentlemen. Is it that the minister is trying to get people to use JUTC bus more than use taxis?
That
No,
it sounds that not
I
minister.
don't think so. I don't think so. I think what is happening right now is that there's no policy, there's no plan. There's no plan of how to move people in Kingston. What we have now, is an illegal system. According to transport authority, we have a system where operators Hackney carriage operators are carrying passengers on the JUTC route. That is what is happening.
But
But that
hold
is
on
not
there, no,
supposed,
Louis Bar.
that is not
Louis, Louis,
supposed to
Louis, hold on a
happen.
minute. Hold on a minute. The transport authority have been saying that for years.
Yeah,
What are they doing about it? It's
nothing. That's the
time.
problem.
It is time, Mr. Barton and Mr. Newman, that we stop this chat in this country and act.
Yeah.
My brother Jeffrey,
Yes.
what can we do? What can we as a sector do? Right? Take for instance, we have some 7,000 public transportation in the KMTR,
Mhm.
but none of them have the right by law to become a member of an association. Yet still, Jeffrey Tavares from his media will call and say, Louis, the man them in discipline, what are you going to do about them?
Mhm.
They going to do about who? We have no right and no authority to do anything about the taxi and busman. If I want a few members in charge, I have to find all sort of things to give them, hand me down to give them, for them to become a member. There is no law or regulation. There's no policy to say that, listen, all bus and taxi operators must be first a part of an association and so you can link the indiscipline to the association. Nobody can link an indiscipline taxi to TODs because I don't have the right to have them. And until I get that right and that responsibility and a method in which to take them out when they
Yeah.
break the rule 1, 2, 3 times, that's what I can do.
Then let me ask a question now, Mr.
And then right
Barton.
now, Jeffrey, let me just throw this in. Let me just throw this in, Jeffrey. Right
Yes.
now, JUTC is allowed 400 buses in the system. They barely have 200 right now. So the taxi is the one who is picking up the slack. The taxis are the one who is carrying half of the passengers in the KMTR. They should be licensed. They should be licensed to do what they are doing so we can organize them properly. We can require that they are be part of an association and carry passengers in a decent way.
I,
What we're having now is helter-skelter foolishness.
if I remember, if I remember, I remember at one point Mr. Newman took me to a meeting. Or was it Mr. Newman? I don't know how it was though. But if I remember, I think I heard former Minister Bobby Montague with a system that he wants to put the taxi people in a group. Now tell me something, Mr. Newman and Mr. Barton. Have you approached Minister Vaz, Daryl Vaz, with this, with a new idea saying, listen to me, yes, it's all good and dandy to do whatever, but we need to put them into a group. There has to be some law passed in Parliament that give the taxi men and women the go to form an association, and the government must form something that give the association the ability to accept these people.
Could I go before you, Louis? And this one give it because I'm the older one. Let me go before you. Yes, yes, we
Hold,
have
hold on.
presented the minister, the new minister, the action man, a plan. I presented a 10-point plan to him on week 1 of his entering the ministry. And in that plan is suggesting that all public transport operators in the KMTR and beyond become a member of an association. Now, me and Louis going somewhere in the next couple of hours, and I'm hoping that in his presentation he will say that, because that is where we need to go. We need to have everybody as part of an association. But when we present that plan during Montague's time, we had a few meetings.
Yes.
And we said, yes, this is the way to go. We start the process of engaging all Hackney carriage operators as part of an association. It was stopped in its track by the legal team of the Ministry of Transport. So I cannot see for the life of me why a route taxi can become a part of an association. A suggestion we make, Barton, in 2000, I think it's 2003 or 2004, and it was accepted by the Transport Authority. It was put in place. Now we are saying the same thing for Hackney carriage and buses, and it's been barred by the legal team of the Ministry of Transport. We need to know why.
Yeah. And AJ, I hate to
Hold on for
repeat it.
Mr. Barton. Hold on for Mr. Barton. We're going to take a quick break on Roots 96.1 FM, but the Make We Talk YouTube channel will not take the break. We'll continue. Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, I just want to, I hate to repeat it, but I think it's the bottom line. Bottom line is that we need to come together to form, to put a policy in place, a transportation policy that carrying passengers in the KMTR and also outside of the KMTR. But if we don't put it together, as Mr. Newman said, we don't want the government to give us a policy. We have to develop a policy and present it to them. They are the ones who have to approve it. But at least something have to come together. And you know the other thing is that we are the ones who holding us or holding back ourselves because there are some operators or some associations right now that they're refusing to come aboard to talk to us. So we holding back ourselves. It is I can't blame the government alone for lack of systematic relationship in the system. Because we are to be blamed too. We have to get ourselves together or we're going to catch hell. This is where we are. We catching hell now, but it's because of our negligence.
Mr. Newman.
We are our own enemy, Jeffrey,
Yes.
because we can tell you, for about 15 years now, we've been asking for the establishment by us, asking ourselves to come together and form a national steering committee. 15 years. And I always say,
Mr. Newman,
after,
Mr. Newman, is
yes,
it that, and I don't want him to get upset with me now, you know, is it that the associations around Jamaica that have taxes under their belt, is it that majority of them are feathering their nest in that area why they don't want to form a national group?
Yeah,
well, you said it clearer than I. But and that's
yeah,
the problem we're facing, right? It takes a minister to come and say, don't come together. And even though the ministers say come together, we still have divisions. Because the road taxi man don't like the busman don't like the road taxi man, the
And the
hackney carriage
president
man don't like the busman.
and the presidents that don't like each other.
Oh God, that is worse. They hate me. But you know, I believe that I have a job to do and I'm gonna do it. And they have a job to do and they say they're doing it. Then but myself and the cooperative presidents, because of a vast difference between cooperative transportation or am I saying it right? Cooperative transportation and rural area transportation. A vast difference. And we need to sit down and look at how we can divide it. Because right now, we want a fare increase. My fare increase have a different figure from the rural taxi man, right, a rural bus man. And so we need to have a rural stage operations and an urban stage operations. So a number of things. So bring the urban presidents together, look at the urban situation, how we need to address it, and have the rural people together and address the rural situation. That's how I see it. I might be wrong, but we need to find a way to address the problem. But guess what? It can't be addressed, Jeffrey and Louis, as Louis said, without a national public transportation policy. Not a policy that deals with the truck and the train and the plane. I'm talking about a policy that deals with ground transportation that moves people from point A to point B.
yeah. Okay, gentlemen, Jeffrey, I'm sorry, I have to leave you. I have an appointment in a
Yes.
half an hour. So I have to
Okay.
run and catch it.
All right.
But
Thank you
Jeffrey,
for coming
I'm
on.
available anytime. If I'm making sense, you can
Yes, you
always
are making
contact me.
sense.
All right. So Newman, I'll see you later. But I have to
Yeah,
make
but
a
you have,
run now.
Louis, before you go, you have to pick me up. So we are in the same problem together right here now. But
Yeah,
I'm going to spend a few more minutes with Jeffrey because it's important, I like this program. But
Yes.
yeah.
I'll see you later. All right?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, Louis Barton of Jatu. We're
Yeah,
still gonna have
welcome, so anytime.
you're welcome. We're still gonna have Edgerton Newman of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services stats on the Make We Talk program here on Roots 96.1 FM. Make We Talk Transport is Mr. is the new Minister of Transportation. Is he transforming the transport sector in a way that Jamaica can have a proper transport sector? Majority of people will say no. Mr. Newman, we all know that why the togetherness within the taxi association cannot come to is because majority of them have their own agenda. And if, as you said, the minister said that they should come together now, and even the minister said they're not doing it. Let me ask you this question, though, Mr. Newman. If they don't come together, Mr. Newman, don't you think it's going to continue come next year? The same shebang around?
Well, let me tell you, you're right in saying that everybody has their own agenda. Nothing is wrong in having an agenda. I have an agenda,
Yeah.
right? Now, one will say, what type of an agenda? If you want me to tell you that, then that's another thing. But I think if we continue to be divided in this fashion, even though we have the steering committee now, we are still divided. If we continue on this trend, we won't reach anywhere. As a sector, we are going to be becoming like a crab in the barrel, fighting each other, while the politicians or the lawmakers smile at the polls, because we fight each other now, but we rush to the poll to put back the same person, and we have the same fight over and over again. But I want to go to this present minister. Bear with me. Because the present minister has hit the ground running. Every minister come, start off with a conference, beautiful speeches. But what I saw in recent times, Jeffrey, tells me, and I mean it so long now, I must observe certain things, that Minister Vaz have an interest in the public transport sector. He himself a bus owner many years ago.
And
3 weeks. Maybe he still is. But 3 weeks after he took off out of office, he was in the States. He came back and I said to him, listen now, we're going on the road, Friday morning. He said, where? I said, we're going to your home first in your constituency. And from that day until today, anywhere we asked him to go, he never said no. And that's what I like about him. Just like Montague and Shaw tried, but Shaw was not too well. And I could personally understand his movements, although I think he was shafted in the ministry at the executive level, while a number of things were not done. And I can say it as loud as possible. I think Minister Vaz have the ears of many persons, and he will get the job done if we, as operators, unite and work around it.
So do you believe that Minister Vaz will do what the public transport sector is asking for?
I think so. He has started it, and I think he's working on it. It's just 142 days since he took office, I think, and we are giving. I'm personally giving him the first year to see what happened, and things start to happen already. The day named day, Jeffrey, and your listeners, the minister put back those bus stops on the Constant Spring Road. He'll get a 7% mark from me. He's at 5 now. A mark very tough. He put back those bus stops.
Mr. Newman, why is it taking so long for them to put a bus stop back on the Constant Spring Road?
I don't know, Jeffrey. It takes 3 weeks from conception to implementation. 3 weeks. The bus stop can be replaced by next week. I cannot see. You need no, what you call it now, when the ministries apply for something, it takes some time for it to do. Nothing no go so. When it comes to those bus stops, just ask Sankwell, put your logo on the bus stop, erect the bus stop.
Yes.
Ask any major business people right now. They will do it in days.
So why don't the taxi groups come together and they put up one Edgerton Transport Authority, Transport, whatever, your own tags, and a one two.
If tomorrow morning the minister said, Newman, put your sign on the bus stop and put it up, we will do it. But we have to get the go ahead. We can't do it like that. It has to be done through the ministry. The NWA have to write off on that. They say they can do it. Nothing is being done.
What? No, okay. I know I don't have enough time leaving the program here, Edgerton Newman.
Yes.
Because we already left.
Yes.
What is the plan going forward for the public transport sector? In your views with the new minister, and is the public transport sector going to get a fair increase? Because the poor paparazzi most of taxi drivers and broke like dog like myself, yeah.
I was gonna say like Porsche, but I won't say it. I'm gonna say don't pull my hand
Uh-huh.
because I expect today, for something to be said in Parliament with regards to a fare increase. It means that is a first step towards seeing some change in the public transport sector.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a small pittance, and that is why I don't want to speak to the amount. Allow the minister to speak first.
So you know the amount,
But
Edgy, you know the amount, Edgy?
what did I say? I am allowing my minister to speak first. You call me anytime after 3 o'clock this evening.
Uh-huh.
I will tell you. I will tell you that we accept or we reject. You know, but I can't tell you now because I did give the commitment that I will allow the minister to say it first. It will be said in Parliament this afternoon, and I know a station like yours will carry it live, so we'll get it
Yes, the Make We Talk
ball by ball.
the Make We Talk program will be going live to the Parliament at
Yes.
2 o'clock in Jamaica. That's about 3 o'clock US time. We'll be going live to Parliament to get what the minister is saying and what other ministers are saying. But before you
The
go,
second thing, Jeffrey,
yes,
before I forgot, the prime minister, not the minister now, the prime minister in his budget presentation announced a major training program for all public transport operators.
yes.
Now, it is now October, right? We haven't seen that program started yet through the hard NTA. We don't know if there's any funding to do it. And we are saying, Minister, things like those, we need them, right? We need it. I believe in the next 2 years, if you want to renew your license, your driver must show a certificate that has gone through 4, 5, 6 days training on the hard NTA or any other such agency that deal with training. Now, we have not touched that yet. Again, we were given $200 million as revolving loan to retrofit our vehicles. We have some broke down bus on the road. In the said presentation, or was it before that,
Mm.
right, by the Minister of Finance. To date, not even $1, 3% interest. I knew it couldn't be for 3%. As a man who's not a finance man, not a businessman, I know it could not be given to us at 3%. But I put it at 4 or 5. The banks are saying 14% and more. And the paperwork is like writing a Bible, right? We couldn't manage it. And the government needs to look into that. I hope I will have advised our minister about it already. And we hope something will be done because we can't have brought down vehicles. We need some loans. No major bank will lend us money because we now make no money, so they're not going to lend us. We have a 1-year contract with a taxi,
And one more,
right?
yes,
Yes.
and one more thing, Mr. Newman. When I was home, I led a campaign for them to do something about the old housing ministry in Halfway Tree.
Yes.
You have any more? Have you spoken to Minister Vaz about that old dilapidated building in Halfway Tree where there's a car mart and the property? I think the car mart is owned by the Ministry of Justice. You have to behave yourself.
Yeah, it is not owned by the Ministry of Justice, but the Ministry of Justice have a portion of it for a justice center.
Right.
But the government owns the property, and I noticed that as you rightly said, a car mart is there. It is a wrong move by the government to be utilizing that place, giving that place to private people to set up car mart. When we asked you many years ago, from you were there, Jeffrey, for that facility to be turned into a transport facility,
Yeah.
it would be a major hub for for taxis. We could have at least 3,000 taxis going in and out of that facility at a cost. The government could be making no ends of money, but they prefer to take our vehicles, put it into a pound, and they steal out the parts. And they say they never know about it.
And what I don't understand to Mr. Newman, and I think that the chairman for the Transport Authority and the program here to you. What I don't understand, how on earth can you be giving road license to the men and women of the taxi industry when there is nowhere to park?
I have a little difference on that, Jeffrey, and I'm happy for the program to allow me to just quickly say that the Hackney carriage, and the stage carriage buses. Let's speak about the Hackney carriage first. The Hackney carriage are allowed to there's on the license it says your application, sorry, it says where will you be parking. You have to say at your home or a specific place because there's no parking facility for a hackney carriage operator, right? And so people don't understand that. Even the owner don't understand that but you sign to it that you will park the car at your house because you're a chartered vehicle, and person will call you to pick up and to set down somewhere. What causes the chaos in Harvard Tree every day is because of the JOTC inability to provide seating to carry the people, and so the hackney carriage could continue to use as a charter. So because we are filling the gap for them, that is why we have the anarchy in Harvard Tree, and that is why we say to the government, we are filling the gap for the JOTC bus. Provide us a space to park, to sit down and pick up, and we will pay for it. But
if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was former Minister Bobby Montague or the former chairman for the Transport Authority, Woodard Hilton, told me that where the property that the transport sector is on, it goes all the way back to where the old housing ministry is, if I'm correct. Am I correct?
Not sure.
I don't think I'm correct. No, but something of the sort. I don't think it's the way the old housing ministry is. But it cannot be, Mr. Newman, that the government keep on allowing the commuters. There's no place for them to shelter when rainfall. When they're going to Halfway Tree over by Mothers right there, you can see the people going to Portmore. It's a hell on powderhouse to get into a vehicle to get to Portmore. And I believe the time has come for the public transport sector, Minister Vaz, if you're hearing us, to do more to alleviate what is going on in Halfway Tree, Minister. And I think you need to look seriously, Minister, into where the old housing ministry is, to put a car park there.
Jeffrey, it will remiss of me not to mention the fact that the minister is looking at it, maybe a little bit slow, but we have a couple of meetings just in recent weeks at the transport center for the use of the transport center for buses and a few taxis. And there are a couple of spaces like the same Spencer James Park where they will no longer allow certain buses to come into the park and make the entire park for usage by the hackney carriage. So there are plans afoot to do that. But what me and you want is for that facility the housing ministry, old housing ministry, to become an overall parking facility for taxis. That's what we really want. But I think the minister is working on something, and I can, if you invite him back next week, I can tell you exactly what is the plan for the
because that old asbestos building in the heart of Halfway Tree need to go. It's an eyesore.
Which one is that?
The old dilapidated housing ministry.
Okay, yes, so take it down completely. That's why take down that building completely and set up a transport center for taxis right there. That's what they need to be done. And let me tell you, you won't like what I'm going to say here. I discussed with the president yesterday. Mandela Park need to be taken and put at Mandela Highway. We don't want a Mandela Park there. What we need is a proper facility there where taxis can park and maybe buses too. Why we have that edifice there? We're not doing anything with it. And the same thing goes to downtown Kingston. Half of that, we call it send whosoever park downtown Kingston. We need the space. That is a foolishness. That's a white elephant, right? Nobody, anybody go inside there, all they go inside is to urinate. That's a waste of money, a waste of property. Take down half of that park and turn it into a taxi stand or a bus park, and you see what happens.
You know, Mr. Newman, I think what we need to do, and I hope the new Minister of Transportation know that it was this program here on this little noble radio station, Roots FM, owned by the Mustard Seed, that we were the one who called out for where the old housing ministry is to become a car park for bus and taxi operators.
That is true. That is true.
And I pray and hope that the day will come when I can see that they do something about it. It cannot be that we have our citizens in our country, in the capital city, the capital of Jamaica, don't have a proper area to go and take taxis apart from the transport sector, apart from the transport center rather. I pray and hope that something is done, Mr. Newman.
You know, and believe me, Mr. Tavares, we are going to work on that facility. It must be a yes or no by the minister, and we're going to take it to him. I'm going to be talking to him about it because I think it's a proper area to have a state of the art transport center where the kids can go and sit down, have ice cream,
Yeah,
study until the taxi come,
yeah.
right? Internet. The minister is also the minister of what's it called, technology.
Yes.
Internet, you can have a number of things right there. Facilities there for it. We have, as a transport group, we have gone inside there, we have looked at it, we have penciled what can be done. We are now, the corporate area presidents will be going to the minister for him to have a walkthrough and to tell us what the plans for this facility.
Right, and I remember I had a meeting with opposition leader Mark Bolin and opposition spokesperson on transport, Michael Phillips, along with Louis Barton and myself. Went to the opposition leader office, and we sit down and speak about that old dilapidated building turned into a car park for the taxi and bus operators. And I personally think that would be a very good move, as what you said, to build a state-of-the-art transport center where people can go in there and have internet service and whatever. That people can go in there, because when rain start fall, God help we.
That is true. It would, I can say to Jamaica that if that facility is put in place, it will solve 60% of the challenges that we have in halfway tree immediately. There's no question about that. Right? And the police would have a job to do. Anybody caught outside of space, pick it up and are sitting down, deal with them, throw the entire book at them, because we have the facilities for them to utilize.
Sir Newman, I want to tell you thanks for coming on, and I pray and hope that Minister Daryl Vaz, and along with the Police Administration, is hearing us. That this little radio station owned by Mustard Seed has been campaigning for the bus and taxi operators. This program here, the Make We Talk program, has been campaigning for the bus and taxi operators to get a proper transport center where they can sit down passengers and take up passengers in a normal.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you, Jeffrey, and please don't hesitate to invite me back. Thank you.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless you.
Edgerton Newman of the Transport and Sustainable Services. Thank you for coming on, sir. We sit down in this country, and some of the times we criticize government, including myself. But I see they have been doing some good work. I see them build new highways from Williamsfield to Manchester. Am I correct? But yet they're having some problems with the roadway, where you have people meeting in accidents because of the tearing down the fence and animal crossing over on the road. I think what they need to do is put some solar lights along the highway. That's what they need to do. And I think Jamaica has come to the time where we need to change out the lights on the roads and let them be solar. It costs less. The government have to hold JPS billions and billions of dollars. They need to get some solar panel lamps put up, man. Jamaica is well known for sunshine. We need to do something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, until you hear my voice again on this radio program owned by the Mustard Seed community, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Join me at 1 o'clock US time, that's 4 o'clock Jamaica time, on the YouTube channel, when I'll be speaking to the Haitian consulate, the Haitian consul general rather, to Haiti, to the United States rather, from Haiti, sorry. The Haitian consul general, who is in Miami, will be on my program to speak about Haiti We'll be also having a discussion on what is going on in Israel with some other people. Hopefully they come on. Until you hear my voice again, I'm Jeffrey Tavares saying thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining in. Like, share, and subscribe. And thanks to all the hard-working team in the studios of Roots 96.1 FM. I'm Jeffrey Tavares, returning to the studios of Roots FM. Thank you all very much for coming on. God bless you all.